You know what we need, Nat, is like the NFL music. The da 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 da.
Hmm. Yeah,
Maybe
the
maybe for
the
future
final countdown.
streams.
For future
Oh,
streams, we'll have, for anyone listening, we'll have better music. But this is this is very loose, really loose
maybe
right
the
now.
Muppets.
We're making this up in real time. I'm Nat at Emoti on Warpcast, Farcaster, and joined by
At
my
Phil.
co-host today, sitting in our West Coast studio.
Yeah, this is the West Coast studio. Exactly. Studio on a budget. Um, pumped to be here to support some. Pumped to watch this auction. I um I love ranked auctions. Do you remember the first ranked auction that you participated in, Nat?
I think it was over on Verse, if I'm not mistaken. I'm honestly relatively new to ranked auctions, although we quickly got very excited about them a few months ago, and we built this. So if you're listening at home, if you go to hotterwheels.xyz, you too can participate in a ranked auction. But Phil, what was your first ranked auction?
Yeah, maybe I'll show you. Let me pull this up. If you remember like a couple of years ago on Foundation, these were like really popular. And there was when we first started Bright Moments, we did a ranked auction. And let me see if I can find it here. It was like for it was like a poster. Here it is. So anyway, there's this opening night poster, and anyone who won the auction, like all the money went towards supporting the band that was playing. And like this was the first NFT we ever created. Like it's like a JPEG, not generative at all, not AI.
Hmm.
Like back in my
Yeah,
day, we had to use Photoshop. And so I remember participating in this auction, and I wonder if you can still see it here. Yeah, I won it for 0.3631, and like it was like sort of this fun bidding war. Ellie here is on the leaderboard. Jesse was on the leaderboard. You know, a couple accounts,
nice.
and I end up. And this is like if I have to sell every other NFT, like if something happens, and I need to like make bail money. This will be the last one that I sell. And so it's cool seeing how far these have come, and like they've gotten way better. There's like instantly it gives you your money back, and now there's like prizes for people. Like there's more than one winner. It feels really cool.
Amazing. Yeah, so let's talk some of the details for all you sports fans, art fans at home. Some of the details about today's ranked auction. So this is a 100-piece collection from Sumit at Sum on Farcaster, who needs no introduction, really. Sum is a prolific artist and creator on Warpcast and on other channels, but very well known within the Farcaster community. And the project is called Hotter Wheels, and Hotter Wheels is a homage to, I think, in general cars. There's some other vehicles here. We have a couple previews of a selection of the works. These are in some signature style, and it's a ranked auction. I don't know, Phil, if you want to share more about some.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of working with some for FarCon recently. We did a little activation where we gave away free books, and I feel like that's super on brand for him. Like bookish, his first collection, Outcasts, basically broke
Yeah.
Farcaster when he launched it, and this was like the way that I got introduced to him. I love it. We've since then we've like changed the books channel to like an Outcast inspired PFP. We've got these cool little pins that we made for everybody that came, and so I got the opportunity to work more closely with him. And so when he mentioned that he was dropping a new collection, would I want to help do the live stream? I said totally. A couple things that are really cool about ranked auctions. I just it feels like so much of crypto sort of feels single player. Like you're sitting behind a screen, you're clicking around, you're minting something. Like you're trying to explain it to your normie friends, and like the more you talk, the crazier you sound. And the cool thing about this is like for an hour, there's a group of people who are all at the same web page, and like it's like a competition. It's adrenaline inducing. I mean, I'm sure some, if you're watching, it's really nerve wracking. I know how that goes. we used to have a tradition where we would sit with the artist on a call like this, and it wasn't live stream, but it was behind the, sort of behind the camera. And we had one rule, which was the artist could pick a song, but we had to play the song on repeat. And so like I have all of these different songs that I know that like different artists choose when the ranked auction is going on as like a comfort blanket type thing. And so it just feels like, I don't know, one of the few live action things in crypto where it's not quite as financialized, like there's sort of a game aspect to it. So I really like them. Compared to a Dutch, which just feels sort of stressful, and there's like a whooshing sound, and like all of a sudden it's over and you're not sure what happened. This is usually exciting right up until the end.
Yeah. And if you're new to all this auction jargon, Phil, do you want to explain like in five, catch me back up on
Totally.
okay, what is a ranked auction and how is it different from other types of auctions maybe that people know about?
Yeah, for sure. So there's a couple ways to do it. In this case, this is an addition of 100, right? So there's 100 pieces that are going to be sold. And basically, a ranked auction is a way to do price discovery. So, as the artist or as a platform, it's really risky to say, okay, we're selling 100 items and they're all going to be zero point 0.1 ETH each. Like you sort of put yourself out there, and if you set the price too low, they sell really quickly. And like as soon as the mint opens, everybody knows that it's way too cheap and they just hit mint. But if you price it too high, you're in the sticky situation where like a couple people might buy because they're not price sensitive or they really want to support you. But then there's not 100 people who are willing to pay that price. And so a ranked auction is a way to achieve price discovery for a collection with a larger number of items, right? So in this case, there's 100 and the starting price is 0.02, which is well below sort of what, we think that the individual pieces are worth. We hope that there's at least 100 people willing to pay 0.02. And then the ranked auction can allow people to bid higher. And so over the course of an hour or so, bids come in, and up until there's 100 bids on the leaderboard, 0.02 will guarantee you a work. But the minute that the 101st bid comes in, the last person to bid gets knocked off the bottom of the leaderboard. And then, you need to bid a little bit higher to get on. And so that can sort of continue indefinitely until finally the 100th person says like, okay, this is the highest price I'm willing to pay. There's no new bidders. The auction closes and everyone receives a piece. There's some other dynamics in there about like, why would you want to bid higher than somebody else? Why do you want to be on the top few? And there's some incentives for it. But that's the basic structure of a ranked auction compared to say, a direct sale or a Dutch or something like that.
Yep. And one of the things that's cool about a ranked auction, to your earlier point about crypto being social, is you can actually see in most cases people's ENS or display name if they set one of those two things. So you'll see on the page we've got higher in second place, Dreadpunks.eth in third place, Walking Potato with several O's in the end there, Utah Gold, etc. And so, unlike a Dutch auction where as the price is falling, bids are being placed, and there's bids happening, but you don't know who's making them. Here, we actually do know, we do see who's making them, which makes this pretty fun. I mean, we've got a leaderboard here of folks who are throwing bids in.
Yeah, I always love sort of there's like a voyeuristic component, like Walking Potato. I can like see what else they've collected. For example, I see they have like this Ganbird piece from Venice. Like this is pretty cool. So clearly there's some overlap between, Walking Potato and other sort of Farcaster native collections. And so it's sort of really interesting. You can get a better idea of who the collectors are rather than the sort of faceless, like, going on Etherscan and seeing just numbers come in. It's sort of nice to be able to see like, they have this nice piece here by Dwayne as the PFP. Looks like some other collections that they've got. And then you can even go deeper. And I can, for example, go to Etherscan and I can go and I can look at their name. I can sort of get this rich history about the person, right? So I can see all the different things that they're doing. It's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah. And I think this is one of the things that makes me really excited about Farcaster in general is, we at Highlight in building tools for artists and tools for collectors, we know that all of these experiences are in some way social, but we, like other builders in the space and maybe other builders on Farcaster, we've been around the block when it comes to building stuff on other centralized companies' APIs, especially social platform APIs, inherently risky. We've seen that with Twitter. We've seen that with Discord with some stuff we built in the past, and just like well known, longstanding history. But here, what's cool, we can build on the Farcaster protocol and have confidence, total confidence in the team there that everything they're doing is intended to be permissionless uh, forever. And so, social experiences with wallets attached, where there's little or no risk of being rugged, is something we're really pumped about, and why we're excited to be so active in Farcaster.
Yeah, I just also love the distribution that some has gotten through Farcaster. Like I remember the day that he dropped Outcasts, I like saw it in my feed and I even DM'd him and I was like, "Hey, like what's this collection? Like please let me know before you mint it." And then like something happened, I walked away from my computer, I came back and like it had like minted out and I was like, I didn't go anywhere else, didn't ask anybody. I like saw it in my feed, liked the art, and went and instantly got 2 on secondary. And I was like, okay, like good, like FOMO satiated. And then I saw this one that I just totally loved, and I actually ended up getting it. Let me see if I can. I think it's in this wallet. And the thing about this collection that I love is just how different some of the pieces are, right? So this is Outlands, and I'll come back to this because I have a story about that as well. But it just felt
Mm-hmm.
so sort of native, like the experience of seeing something in my feed from an artist that, I didn't need to go and ask somebody else if their art was good. I was like, yeah, obviously, like I see it, it sort of felt native. And I saw this one
Yeah.
and it was like, wow, like this is different. Um, and I sort of like the Van Gogh vibe, like the really heavy paint textures. And I actually have this as my PFP. It alternates between this and Spongenuity's Portrait Lab. And then a couple months later, when he did Outlands, I, minted my Outcasts allocation from Outlands. And someone actually reached out to me and said, hey, like I minted this Outland. It matches your PFP. Do you want me to send it to you for free? And like, that's just an amazing thing. Like one, even for somebody to be able to
Mm-hmm.
find me and do that, like super difficult. And then two, they didn't ask for anything in return. There was no like quid pro quo. Like I did send them, an outline that I had gotten, but like it just felt amazing. And so now I have this awesome pairing here. Um,
Yeah.
and it feels really
Yeah.
cool. I love how this style has translated across collections.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's something with some's artwork that's consistent is just, I think, capturing the overall vibe and the spirit of sort of um, optimism, mystery, art, reading, like a lot of the themes that I feel like the Warpcast community really leans into. But then individual works tend to really resonate with people, and like you, I've gotten a bunch of DMs about different pieces of sums that I've owned, and people wanting to trade or buy some of those, and it's really cool. I'm excited for Hotter Wheels and to see. I mean, already I see some of the pieces here, and there's certain ones that just really strike a chord. But hopefully, I'll get. All right, looks like bids continue to roll in. Um, our minimum bid here, folks, was 0.02, and top 10 has now exceeded that. So 0.021 is the 10th ranked bid. Walking Potato still cleaning up with 0.02692. And we should mention to everyone who maybe is listening, there are some incentives for being in first place or second place today. First place will receive an artwork from Sum's personal vault from Outcasts,
Woo.
and second place will receive an artwork from Outlands. So these are iconic pieces, iconic collections now from Sum's body of work. Really uh, coveted, healthy floor prices. Um, Lots of secondary that we see on these, and great incentive if you're interested in trying to unseat Walking Potato, or it looks like OX 51F6 is in second place currently.
This kind of has a Don Quixote vibe. It's like man on donkey.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
You know, the I sort of expect as the auction rolls into the final 5 minutes, a couple things to happen. Like there's almost two auctions happening simultaneously, right? There's like
Hmm.
the auction for even being in the top 100, and then there's going to be the duke it out for the first and second place. And so I sort of see some activity coming in where people just want to get on the leaderboard or maybe placing the minimum bid, and then I expect there to be a couple people who really want that first or second place. And so there's almost like two tiers of jockeying that are going to be happening, and it's always exciting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how competitive this gets. It may be a little competitive. And if that happens, so what Phil's talking about, we've got about 14 minutes left. When we're down to 5 minutes or below, every new bid we get will reset the clock to 5 minutes. And if we do have collectors who are jockeying for first place or second place, that's typically when you see it. Everyone wants to wait until, sort of those last few minutes to get in a really strong winning bid. And we got really good incentives for top place and second place. So we might see some of that today. We may see 100 bids, so we may see all the artwork sold. We may not. In that case, we know everyone who's bidding today will walk away with an artwork, and then some may have some left in his collection that he may use for other projects in the future. But yeah, overall, it's great to see we've got about 20 bids on the leaderboard so far, and just rounding, yeah, rounding the 15-minute mark. Got about 13 minutes left here.
Yeah, I'm curious. How are you guys thinking about, like chain selection for where collections go or advising artists? Like it very clearly seems like base has a pretty hefty lead, especially just because the cost of deploying is so much cheaper compared to mainnet. But can you talk a little bit
Hmm.
about like what percentage of projects you're seeing deployed on which chains and maybe how that affects secondary activity?
Hmm. Yeah, we see approximately 85% of projects created on Highlight
Hmm.
deployed to base. And I think it really depends on who the artist is and the type of work that they're creating, and also who their existing collectors are that guides that choice. So there's no simple answer, but I would say artists like Sumit, who have really exploded as part of the Farcaster scene, I think it was very
Hmm.
natural for them to choose base. And there's different reasons for that. We know things like minting from frames or minting with warps, require less gas, like require
Hmm.
sort of lower price transaction fees. So it's got to be an L2. And then, given how the community has kind of gravitated towards um, base and other chains, Zora and Optimism, we see a lot of as well recently. An L2 just makes sense. There are artists. So, an example, we did a ranked auction with an artist named Sarah Zucker last week, and Sarah chose to release her collection on an L1.
Mm.
In Sarah's case, she's been a professional artist for I think almost 15 years now. Her work's been collected by leading art institutions around the world, and her existing collector base is all on an L1. And
Mm-hmm.
she, I think, just wanted to um, release on an L1 for that reason. She didn't want to sort of throw any throw any wrenches to her collectors when it came to this new project that she released. I think some artists feel that there's just this sense of like greater permanence or durability still with L1s. It's sort of the final state, the final settlement layer
Mm-hmm.
for the EVM ecosystem. And so I think feeling that your work um, is at that final layer versus on an L2 in some cases appeals to artists, but I think that is often outweighed by what we're seeing with this project, which is on base, and so many other projects on L2s, where knowing that gas is not going to be um, any point of friction for someone to purchase. You know, we've seen since the Denkin upgrade, gas come down to a penny or even less than a penny on some
Right.
L2s. That's kind of removed that friction point altogether.
Yeah, one of the interesting things is about price discovery. Like when the transaction costs are high, you actually see different behavior in the auction. So for example, let's say that whenever I bid, I had to pay $5 to place a bid. I would be less incentivized to try to put a low ball in. And I would probably just put in like my actual bid because I don't want to have to like put a low ball and then try to increase it and end up paying a lot of transaction fees. But with low fees, you get better price discovery. And what that often means is a lot of the action gets shifted later in the auction. And so, for example, if I'm walking potato and I really want first place and I have a high transaction fee, I'm going to put in like my honest bid for what is the highest I'm willing to pay. But if I know that the transaction fee is negligible, I'm going to try to like just get into first place. And then if somebody outbids me, okay, no big deal. I can pay a penny or two and like, outbid them. And so it actually has this like recursive effect on the way that people act. And you also see that with like induced demand, right? Like if transaction fees are low, more people are willing to use the network. You sort of get activities that people weren't willing to do before. I'm also seeing, I just took a look through some of the wallets in the top 10. I'm seeing some wallets that are existing, some collectors. I'm seeing some wallets that are highlight collectors, but not, have a work from Sumit. And I'm seeing some people who actually have no highlight works at all. And so it's sort of interesting to see that
Mm-hmm.
even within the top 10 here, there's such a diversity of the type of people who are bidding on the auction. And I always love doing that type of analysis. Like, okay, who are these people? Why are they coming here? I'm assuming in a large part it's due to Firecaster, but also that, there's a lot of like, I sometimes think about the blockchain, like when you start a contract or bids go out, it's like lighting up like a Christmas tree. And like, okay, a bunch of people like hone in on it. Like, I don't know if you've ever read like the three body problem, but there's that whole
Mm-hmm.
like dark forest like analogy where it's like as soon as you make a noise, everyone turns and looks at you. And it's sort of that way with blockchains too. It's like there's people that, oh, wait a minute, why is this person bidding on this thing? Oh, what is this? And there's like this natural discovery that happens because everything's open, which is
Mm-hmm.
interesting and somewhat terrifying if you're the person that has to write the smart contracts for it, I'm sure. Um, I
Yeah.
never envy that job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see here you can edit bids. So for example, I have a bid and I'm in 14th place. If I wanted to up my bid and put myself into first, I could do that. So I could, even though
Yeah.
I've already bid, I could say, you know what, like I really want to go and I want to add another outlands to my collection. I can increase my bid and I can look at where the current line is, 0.02692, and I could bid 0.02692.5 or 0.02693 and try to tie for first. Maybe a technicality. Do you know what happens if there's two bids that have the same amount? Which one
Mm-hmm.
gets the higher ranking?
It would be the one that came in first.
Like the transaction, like the earlier one, right?
The earliest would get it first. Yep. Exactly.
Got it. So there is an incentive to bid a little bit higher early in the auction because if there's a
Yep.
tie, you don't get knocked off. That's good to know.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And can you talk a little bit about how, like, for example, if I bid, I see there's someone here, in ninth place, Jake Allen, 0.022. He's in ninth.
Mm-hmm.
If the auction ends, is that the amount that he pays, 0.022?
It is. Yeah, in this case, it's not a rebate auction, and it's
Mhm.
something we're thinking about adding as a feature. We do have rebates for Dutch auctions,
Yep.
but in the case where you have an incentive for the top bid, or in this case, the two top bids,
Right.
the rebate doesn't make sense, or you need additional logic to say maybe
Right.
everyone outside of like everyone who doesn't get that extra reward, right? Maybe gets
Yep.
a rebate. So we're looking at that. We also think that in some ways the spirit of an auction is you gotta commit, and it's part of the fun and part of the excitement, and the idea that you could just lob in a bid at any price and ultimately just end up paying kind of the lowest price, we feel like is a little bit less dynamic. I think on the
Mhm.
flip side, I definitely talk to collectors who feel sometimes like, hey, I wish I only had I only had to pay the lowest bid, um, for different reasons, which we appreciate too. But it's a balance. I don't
Yeah.
know if there's a sales mechanic that's for everyone who participates is always going to be optimal.
No, it's sort of like a pendulum, right? Like it swings back and forth, and sometimes sales are like super collector friendly, and other times it's easier for the artist and requires sort of less configuration. I think what a lot of people
Yeah.
don't necessarily know is like how much work goes in behind the scenes to try to figure out the things you're talking about. Like it sounds a little bit like inside baseball, but I think it's useful for people to know like, oh, should it be a
Hmm.
rebate? Oh, well, it can't be if there's an incentive because then it
Yeah.
person in first isn't actually paying more. And so there's all this like sort
Yeah.
of below the surface, like it's sort of like an iceberg. Like everybody just sees, the final page, but then underneath it, there's this whole sort of decision tree that goes into collection sizing, initial pricing, how
Hmm.
the leaderboard actually works. And
Yeah.
all of that is to try to make sure that the actual auction itself is fair and exciting and open, and as many collectors as who want to participate have the opportunity to. Another big thing
Hmm.
about that is like time zones, right? I mean, we're doing this at 9 a.m. Pacific time. We're both on the West Coast here. But if you're in Europe and it's, whatever it is now, 5 p.m., does this time work for you? Right. And this is one of the things that we've struggled with a lot is like, what is the right time to do an auction? How do you try to catch people's attention? Especially with the Dutch, where it's like you literally have to sit there and wait until it's about to sell and do it. I feel like ranked auctions have more time zone friendliness where you can sort of show up at any point during the hour, throw a bid in,
Hmm.
and then make sure to check closer to the end to see if you're still on the leaderboard. And that sort of thing has improved a lot over the past few years.
Hmm. Yeah. And to your point about there being kind of like auctions within auctions, there is the time component. So in this case, this is an hour-long auction, but we're probably going to
Yep.
see, we should turn our focus maybe to the leaderboard, which is shuffling quite a bit here. Um, but within that hour, a lot of bids are going to come in the last couple minutes, and it's really like that fight to be in the top 10 or top two or
Totally.
whatever the case is. That plays out well. There's a second set of collectors who, may be just looking to collect an artwork at whatever price gets them on the board.
Totally. Yeah, I see there's already been some shuffling. Crown.eth with a
Yes.
subdomain of eth.crown.eth. That's interesting. I'm not quite sure.
Hmm.
Maybe it's a cross domain thing, but has forced Walking Potato. Oh, and Sean is in. Nice with zero point zero 0.03. There's also some like numerology that goes into this, right? Like why do people choose certain numbers? Like there's psychological anchors, obviously, at like, certain decimals. But
Yeah.
Sean is in first. Let's check out maybe Sean to learn a little bit about his collecting history. So it looks like he's got
Hmm.
a website, he's got a Twitter profile, ENS name. Like this is a power collector. This is someone who has all the things filled out, has all of their things,
Yeah.
linked. They clearly have a big collection. They have 568 items on highlight alone, which is super
Yeah.
impressive. An
Yeah.
existing collector of some, um, higher. So it sounds like they're deep in the Farcaster community. I think you can learn a
Yeah.
lot about somebody from their art collection.
I think we have some polling on the page. It is updating, but if you do a refresh, Phil, we actually see Sean has been unseated now by OX51F6, who looks like they've collected just a couple pieces recently in open edition, real alpha from some. But they're
Fascinating.
now in the lead at 0.031. Then Sean in
Interesting.
second.
Yeah, the other cool thing is you could actually see sort of how much dry powder somebody has in the tank too, just by looking at their wallet, right? So you can sort of, if I'm, let's say that I'm super game theory and I want to know, okay, I'm Sean, how much do I need to bid to make sure that I can't, get unseated by this guy? Okay, well now I know how much he has in his wallet and I know how much to bid. So there is sort of an interesting aspect of that as well. And
Phil
so
is
let's
going
see.
several levels deeper, folks. If you want Phil's expert blockchain sleuthing
Right.
tips and tricks, I feel like you should run a on-chain course for how to do this.
This
But
is
tell
this
us,
is
what are you
ranked
seeing?
auction. This is ranked auctions 201. There was a prerequisite course you have to take in the fall to be eligible for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, having been in the position before where I'm jockeying for a high position on the leaderboard, there's a moment right about now where if I'm walking potato or I'm Sean, where I'm thinking, man, especially walking potato, like I've already put the work in to be in first or second. If I'm in third, I don't get anything. Maybe I want to
Hmm.
do it. Maybe I want to come back to this. And you know what? Maybe I don't need first place, but I want to knock Sean off. Or
Yeah.
similarly, you're someone that's coming back to check the end of the auction and you see, oh wow, like I know that the outcast floor is like zero point 0.2 and I'm able to bid 0.03 right now and get something like that is a positive expected value play. And even as I say this out
Hmm.
loud, I'm like, well, wait a minute, like why would I not do this knowing that I could get an outcast for way less than the floor
Yeah.
price is, plus a work from his new collection. And it looks like somebody is having that exact line of thought and
Hmm.
is jumping into first place with 0.032. Um,
Yep.
and this sort of incremental bidding, I sort of expect to happen for a while. And eventually there's someone that just comes in and lays down the hammer and it's like, you know what? Boom, here's my final
Hmm.
bid. Take it or leave it. So that'll be
Yeah.
interesting to watch.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if you're maybe a collector like that at home, we encourage you to do it, to look at some's body of work, and this is a great opportunity, as Phil said, to collect either an outcast or an outlands, potentially well below floor price.
Totally.
The clock, as we see, is resetting, so folks can see on the page there where it says auction ends in 3 minutes 25 seconds on my screen. We're going to see that reset. So it's going to bump back up to 5 minutes as new bids come in.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm going to take just a screenshot of this leaderboard to post on Firecaster. Um, yeah, I was going to say, it's 9:32. Why does the auction not end right at 9:30 net? And how can people expect to sort of gauge the
Hmm.
remaining time?
Yeah, it's hard to say. So this dynamic is going to play out for as long as bids are still coming in. We thought about putting a hard limit, so saying these extensions that bump the clock back to 5 minutes could only continue for say an hour or 2 hours or something. In this case, we're just going for it, so we'll see how long this goes. I have a sleeping bag rolled up under my desk. I've got
I'm
some
ready. Hmm.
some snacks, some Cliff Bars, and
Yep.
I love chatting with Phil. I've got a bookshelf full of books behind me. Phil does too, so I feel like
We
we
could
might
be here all
we might
day.
be here for a while. Yeah,
I've got some astronaut food. Yeah, and I do see. So
good.
it looks like the timer continues to reset. Now, here's a question, Nat. If there is a bid,
Mm,
let's say it's 0.02, it's just someone getting on the leaderboard. Does that also
yeah,
extend the timer?
that would also extend the timer.
So
So
even if
it's
new
not
people are just
just.
joining the auction. So let's say, for example, I'm showing up. I'm a little bit worried. Oh my God, I don't have ETH on base. I need to put ETH in the wallet. Like, there's only 3 minutes. It's not worth it. Well,
Yeah.
actually, as people continue to join, you can expect the
Correct.
auction to go a little bit further. And,
Yeah.
you know, let's just sort of run the counterfactual. What if you said the auction was over at 9:30? Is there a reason why you do this extension? Like if it just ended right at 9:30, is there some like
Mm-hmm.
adversarial behavior that you're trying to avoid?
Mm. Well, in general, we are creator first and artist first. And what we see is that with these time limits, people really like to bid. Wow, we're seeing some. Let me just put that thought on pause for a moment, Phil. We're seeing some action at the top of the leaderboard that I want to call out. I see
Yeah.
it looks like OX 7576 has come in with a very
Both
strong
spots.
bid. Very strong, 0.05 for the top spot, and then 0.035 for the second spot. And reminder, if you're just tuning into the live stream, those two spots will get you special artwork from Outcasts and Outlands, respectively, directly from Sum's Vault. Those are pretty decisive bids.
I like it. I like it. And how were they able to bid two bids? Is that something that you can do?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's a new bid. You can either edit your prior bid. So if you've already put in a bid, the way this works is we will run a transaction. We'll take those funds. We'll keep them in escrow because you've committed to that bid amount. If you see that you've say like fallen out of the top 2 or the top 10, whatever it is, you can top up that bid. So if you go to edit bids, you can add money that we're holding for you in
Mm.
escrow, or you can decide, actually, I want multiple artworks here, and you can issue a second bid or a third bid. I think the limit on this collection is you can put in up to 5 bids. So if you did want to collect up to 5 artworks from this collection, you could put in 5 separate bids.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It clearly seems like 7576 has a strategy to try to get both first and second, but there
Hmm.
is some duking out happening
Yeah.
between these two accounts for first and second place. And this was sort of the
Hmm.
dynamic that I was talking about earlier, where I can sort of see there's people that are continuing to join the leaderboard and they're just putting themselves on the board. Maybe they're just joining the live stream and they go, oh, you know what? I didn't know about this collection. Let me just put the minimum in. And now there's sort of a fight happening. And it seems like Walking Potato has dropped to sixth. I don't know if they're out of the race or if they're just sort of consolidating themselves to come in later.
Mm.
Same with
Yeah.
Sean. But there usually is this sort of, bifurcated activity. And it's pretty exciting to see because it's almost like a game of chicken, right?
Yeah.
There's even small things like timing. Like if I get outbid, do I immediately put a new bid in, which sort of signals like I can play this game all day? Do I wait a little
Hmm.
bit to see if the other person walks away from their computer and I can maybe sneak it in? There's
Yeah.
um there's some psychological warfare that happens.
Yes. Yeah. Completely. Yeah, you can wear your enemy down, if you
Yeah,
wanted to
war of
take
attrition.
take a page out of Napoleon's book, maybe.
Right. Invade
Although I
Russia
guess
in the winter. Right.
yes, I guess in that case, that's the wrong analogy. He himself got worn down,
Mhm.
but the
Right.
I'll think of a better military analogy. Still
Yeah.
seeing still seeing some action. Clock continues to be reset.
I do want to, just one thing also, tinfoil hat. Maybe first and
Mm.
second are the same person. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Maybe this is a
Right.
massive psyop where they're trying to, get anyone else to stop bidding because it looks like these two people have it. That's also, a potential
Hmm.
a potential option, which,
Hmm.
if you join the 301 on-chain sleuthing class, we can show you the tools of how to determine
Yeah.
if that's the case or not.
We'll run forensics, folks, after the auction, so we'll get a deeper understanding of what's happening here. Not that we have all the techniques to conclusively prove Phil's theory, but yes, we will take a look.
Interestingly, I am taking a look at one of the top two bidders, and they do have quite a bit of degen in their wallet.
Hmm.
So that just sort of further reinforces. I think there's a pretty heavy overlap between the bidders here and people in the Farcaster community. I see they have 60,000 degen in their wallet, which right now is about $1,125. And you're getting into the dog days of the auction when people start swapping other tokens to free up ETH to bid. That's always a good sign when you have
Yeah,
okay, I'm in this moment, let me swap.
right.
We have seen that. That is a level of degeneracy that does happen.
I think when I think ahead, to maybe Phil and I being like on-chain commentators in our retirement, I feel like in that future we'll have kind of like better tools to look at some of this stuff. So we'll know that, for example, OX51F6 is not just kind of sitting back and happy with second place, but they're off on Uniswap, swapping tokens
Right.
furiously
Right.
to load up on ETH to come back strong.
Totally. I definitely suspect a design every day is coming out of this session. I can see
Hmm.
OX designer coming up with something interesting. Something that would even be sort of fascinating is knowing the user's balance, because all of this stuff is publicly available. So, for example, I think you guys have really
Mm.
pioneered using other blockchain data as an input to a generative mint, but that data is
Hmm.
available all the time. So I know if Sean has this amount in his wallet, okay, here's what the top of the leaderboard looks like. Like, whoa, this is a stacked auction. This is a bunch of whales. Or I have the context to say, well, wait a minute, like I can play with the big guys too. Maybe let me get in here because there's a chance that I can get first place. And
Hmm.
that sort of stuff, I think, will just continue to get better and better.
Yeah. Yeah, I very much agree.
I'm fascinated by this person. They use a subdomain, crown.eth,
Hmm.
eth.crown.eth. I am Mahi.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, I am curious why you would choose ETH as the subdomain, but I guess there's a nice symmetry to the name. Maybe it was only that, or maybe there's a better reason that I can't
Well,
think of.
let's find out. Let's see what else they have. Let's see if we can move over here. And Nat, I'll have you keep an eye on the leaderboard just so that way.
Yeah,
I'm certainly not going to open my MetaMask on a live stream, so maybe I won't do that. Sorry,
yeah.
y'all,
Don't
not today.
we've got definitely some streamers poised with their screenshots, screenshot keys almost pressed in case Phil divulges a seed
Right,
phrase or two.
right.
But
That would get people to pay attention to the stream. But I seed phrase leak
hmm. Yes, yeah, that would be real alpha. Watch Phil's wallet get drained in real
in
time.
real time.
Um,
Right? It's like a reverse ranked auction. It's how quickly can you take things from me?
yeah, we'll have to cut coverage here of the auction to see what's happening to Phil's wallet. No, I'm kidding. God forbid. I never want that to happen to you, Phil.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
The
thank you for looking out.
It's interesting because we're now 12 minutes over when the auction was set to conclude. That it was going to end at 9:30 Pacific, but the bids just keep rolling in. We've gotten,
Mhm.
I think, in the last 30 seconds of banter, we've gotten three more bids. No movement in the top two or top five even, but it's great to see additional collectors joining the party. I think that's one of the really nice things about the bid extensions is these time limited events are sometimes tough if you're at work, if you're
Yeah,
away from your keyboard for whatever reason, but you open Warpcast and you see, oh shoot, this is still happening. You do have an opportunity just to put in a new bid in
right.
this extended time.
Man, yeah, way more degen in this wallet too. Both of these guys are degen whales. Almost 300,000 degen in here.
Hmm.
Um, and as I look at the floor price here, right? So just doing some sort of expected value calculations. First place is currently 0.05. Just looking at the floor price of an outcast, right? So the floor is 0.21. You can also say I want to look at like recent sale activity. So 0.1, 0.275. This is an offer at 0.1. And you can see some of their activities here, a bunch of offers at 0.1. So I think it's pretty healthy to say like, okay, there's clearly support at 0.1, which sort of, I think, at minimum puts the expected value for the top bid at least 0.1, and then you add on the additional sort of residual of the Hotter Wheels collection, which starts at 0.02, and price discovery is going on right now. And so, like, putting aside anything other than just sort of the expected value calculation, which is how some people approach this, I do sort of expect to see continued jockeying for first place. And if not, then 7576 was in the right place at the right time, which is always possible as well. I think these markets are so niche that sometimes you can have results that aren't totally rational.
Yeah, exactly. Real arb on the table.
Totally.
It seems
And
like.
then same with outlands as well, right? So it looks like we have some outlands listed right around at the same level as Hotter Wheels. I am super partial to the Outland art. I just love it. It's really dreamy. And right now it looks like there is someone posed to receive an Outland plus a Hotter Wheels for 0.036. So that's 6A34. So it looks like, we may see 5FA come in and try to scoop up both, or sit on their position if no one can test their primacy here for first place with just coming up on 1 minute remaining. And Pai Chai jumps into first place. That's great to see.
Peachy. Big
Do we
move,
know Peachy?
Peachy. We know Peachy. Peachy actually spoke at FarkCon. Peachy, if you're listening, I'm sorry I wasn't able to say hi to you. You have, I'm not sure what's happening. Let's look at the loading state of this profile. Peachy is both a collector and a creator on Highlight. If you just tab over, Phil, to the created tab, you'll see some of Peachy's works. But Anime Outcast
Right.
is a iconic collection or set of collections on Farcaster,
Thank you,
created on
Peachy.
Highlight, and yeah,
we were on a panel together. I'm sorry I mispronounced your name.
The difference between and look, there's more action. It looks like 7576 has come back strong. Wow,
not
very
letting
strong.
go of that first place.
And not playing games, folks. This is significantly higher, outpacing Peachy's 0.051, now with 0.06. Wow, throwing down the gauntlet. We'll see if that's the last and final answer.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I just love the fact that someone like Peachy, who has clearly, with the derivative collection that she's created from Outcast, continues to come back to support Sumit. Like, it's so nice to see artists riffing on each other's work and then be able to present new and creative ideas to the community, receive ETH for it, and then sort of give that ETH back to the original artist. It's like, in some way, a form of royalty. It's like this new modern. And I think I just saw a big move there. I think Hirsch. I think we have two displaced. Maybe let's dig in here. So Hirsch coming in second. It looks like Hirsch was going for the top bid, but then 88 DC came over the top right away.
Heavy bid there, decisively in first place, and Hirsch now outpacing both 7576 and Peachy for the top two spots.
Right. I see that Hirsch has collected a real alpha, which is Sumit's open edition collection. Maybe this is their chance to collect one of Sumit's limited series, and they're on the leaderboard. It looks like with a bid like this, they'll definitely be walking away with the Hotter Wheels today. But will they walk away with
You're going to need to refresh. Sorry, man.
We have more action.
We got to speed up polling here. This is too fast, too furious, very much in the spirit of Hotter Wheels. 7576.
We got a bid at 0.1. We've knocked off a decimal. Sumit has officially eaten another decimal today. Congratulations. That's a top bid. Nat can't handle it. He's up.
Strong bid.
Thank God he's wearing pants. Sometimes the news anchors don't do it. I'm glad that today you decided.
Yes, that's on Friday. But man, this is exciting. I need to toggle over to YouTube and see what Chad is up to. Do we have
Yeah,
Chad? I guess we're not really. I guess Chad's not really going. Okay, good learning for next time. We need
people.
to we need to look at Unlonely, I think, for next time and try to make
Mhm.
more of the experience on chain. Disclaimer: we went with YouTube because it was a this project came together pretty quickly thanks to Sumit's. Um, he had this collection ready to go, and he was willing to experiment with us. But we did a quick YouTube embed for the live stream. I think both Live Peer or Unlonely probably would have been more crypto native options, which we'll look at for future.
So I'm looking here, and so this is fascinating. So they've bid 0.04,
Mm,
and I'm just taking a look at this person's collection. So I see what's happening. So it looks like they're updating their bid, right? So they
hmm
took their existing bid and they added more ETH to it. And so it looks like 7576 is coming in with a clear strategy, which is
hmm
get first place at all costs, right? Second is not an option. They wanted to separate themselves from the pack here. And so now if somebody wants to come in and claim that Outland in second place or try to unseat 7576, they have a pretty tall order for them. Maybe it's Hirsch or
Yeah.
Peachy who wants to come in and increase their existing bid. Or maybe it's someone new who hasn't even joined the leaderboard yet, who's decided that they want that sweet, sweet private outcast from Sum's personal collection. Um,
Yeah.
I'm curious. We don't have a photo of that outcast. Do we know which one it is, or is it selected by the artist?
Let's see if we can get it. Let's see. I'm gonna see if we can find out what it'll be. I'll send
Yeah,
a quick message and we'll circle back on the stream here and see if we can share it.
cool. I'm curious. I think it's always special getting something directly from an artist. I think some of the most important pieces I've gotten have been gifted to me directly by someone. I know I recently got this little plot from Peter Pasma, which was super special. Um,
Yeah.
or I got this physical, which I'm super happy
Oh
with.
well.
This is like, I think you and I both participated in this auction, Nat.
hmm That's Peter Pasma.
No, that's not Peter's. Peter's, he does a lot of things with plotters. I've got some of his work in my bedroom. Um,
Mm,
but it's always like that act of like having an artist give you something directly, even the on-chain provenance of like it going from their wallet to yours, I think is
yeah.
is super special and really important. And one of the reasons why I love ENS names and sort of all of this on-chain identity that surrounds wallets. I do kind of want to know who 7576 is, our mystery bidder, the
hmm
Sum Maxi.
I don't know if we can do a lookup on Nanar or what other tools might be there, but to try to see if there's a Farcaster account associated with that.
Right,
But
right.
that would be a tactic. We don't want to dox anyone on the live stream uh, here, but yeah, we'll see maybe if that person wants to come forward once the auction is
We're
over.
we're the
Looks like
final 30
we're.
seconds, Nat. This could be it.
It's gonna say this could be it. This could be it, folks.
Now,
What a
if
journey it's
somebody if
been.
somebody was full chaos mode, like the Joker and
hmm
Batman, they put in a bid for point oh 0.02 just to get on the leaderboard and extend it. Because
Yes.
right now it's going through Peachy, it's going through Hirsch's mind. Do I want to try to get second place? Do I want to try to put a
Uh-huh.
bid in? And here we
It's
go.
been
We'll see.
extended. It's been extended, Phil. It's been
It's been extended.
extended.
Insert the meme of that little girl with the burning building in the back. The chaos agent.
Yeah. This could be. I don't know how the rest of your day looks, Phil, but we might be here for a little while.
I'm good. I'm
Um,
ready. I'm ready for
I'm
it.
ready too. I feel like we could go through. I think we could cover a lot of ground together if this went for several hours.
This is
Um,
kind of what I'm thinking.
one thing we
This is
didn't. Yep. Whoever's out there, I don't know if that's 7576. I don't know if it's
right.
88DC, Hirsch,
Probably Johnny
Peachy,
Mac. Probably
maybe.
Johnny Mac getting on the leaderboard.
Johnny Mac is, I don't see him here, but I think there's a strong case that he has just a burner wallet. One of his secretive wallets is, um, yeah, it's showing up somewhere here. Maybe he is eth.current.eth. We don't know.
I also just want to call out quietly, we've amassed 40 bids on the leaderboard, which is pretty incredible. So since the
That's
time the
right.
auction has started, we now have 40 bids, which, I
Yep,
know a lot of the fireworks have been around first and second place, but it is nice to see people continuing to jump in to sell out the collection.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and you'd asked me earlier about like the thinking around the bid extension. Why not just make it why not just end it at a defined time? And I think we really see we really see more and more people getting involved as they learn about the auction, and often
Hmm.
that happens once there's some movement in the final minutes that triggers more excitement, that triggers more sharing, more amplification. And when people hear that they've only got a few minutes left to collect a work from an artist as prolific as Sumit, they jump in. But you're right.
Yeah.
I think in the last like 15, 20 minutes or so, we've gotten like 10 or 15 more bids on the board.
And you mentioned like YouTube comments. The thing that's interesting to me, just like product road mapping on the fly, is like, what are people saying on Farcaster? Because that's the place
Hmm.
where the conversation happens, right? They don't leave and then come and join. And you remember Brian used to live cast anything that people said in the Unlonely comment box. That's sort of
Hmm.
I think that's sort of like the rich comment history is like, oh wow, Sumit just casted about the collection, or Phil just like, you know, put this cast in the Outcast channel. And you could either pull from relevant channels, saying like anything in
Hmm.
Outcast is shown during the stream, or you could say like, hey, there's a thread that we sort of dedicate as the master thread, and we just show replies to it.
Hmm. So we got something exciting here, Phil. I think we're ready. I think we're able to share this. I'm gonna text this to you.
Sure.
But we have a glimpse of the outcast that the top bid will receive from
Whoa.
Sumit themselves.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm pulling it up in another tab here. Are you ready? Boom.
Boom. Beautiful. Amazing palette. Leaning into the purple. Um,
Hair gel or pomade?
Not sure.
Not
I don't
sure. It
know.
looks like maybe like an all natural salt thing in the hair.
Hmm.
I like this book. It maybe looks like a hardcover. They're about halfway through it, clearly buried in it because there's no eyes visible. Relative to some of the outcasts where you can see their
Yeah.
eyes, this one is no eyes visible, which I like. You can sort of, it can be anyone's identity, right? You see that some outcasts you can see the eyes
Hmm.
versus some they're completely hidden. And this
Right.
is one of the more hidden ones, which I am personally partial to. My outcast has its face completely hidden, so you love to
Yeah.
see that. And a sort of a beautiful mountain background. It looks like it could be the East Coast. It looks like it could be
Hmm.
really any mountain range.
Yeah. South Asia, perhaps, where Sumit's base.
Super
Beautiful. And
beautiful.
then a glimpse as well. Let me send this one to you. This is of the Outlands. This is a special Outlands. So I think in both cases these might be one of ones.
Oh, awesome.
Um, but this one is a Hotter Wheels inspired Outlands.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah, amazing. Snow Crash vibes.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I like the feeling of motion that it gives you. And I want to make sure we're keeping an eye. Whoa, we have some activity. Shorn
Shorn.
jumping into first
Wow.
place.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. Welcome. Come on in.
Yeah.
Stay a
Point
while.
one two. 0.12, unseating 7576 and 88DC now in third place. That's a great bid
I
at
want
point
to.
one
I
two.
definitely want to. I definitely want to learn a little bit about Shorn. I'm super curious. I wonder. Let's see. Let's see if this resolves. It does. Wow, Shorn has dry powder in the tank. That is for sure. They could play this game all day if they wanted to. 0.477.
Wow.
That is, I think, the highest individual balance that I've seen. So Shorn definitely came ready to play it. And the interesting thing is, I believe this is their first bid on the leaderboard, right? Almost 30 minutes after the auction was scheduled to end, they decided to come in and put their stamp on it, which is really interesting to see. Let's see. It looks like they have, yeah, some significant degen bags. Almost 2.5 million degen.
Wow. Yep.
And not an insignificant NFT collection. I don't recognize a lot of these, but I do recognize the based MFers. Rug sucks, peachy
Mm-hmm.
bites. I like this. I think it looks like we have some overlap here in the collector audience. Yeah, I'm always fascinated by what tokens people hold. Wild Goat Coin. Are you familiar? Are you a holder, Nat, of Wild Goat Coin?
That's one that has slipped through the cracks for me. But
Right.
how about you? Do you know this
Well,
one?
not financial advice, but I'm a good ticker. WGC feels
Mm-hmm.
fun. Um,
Yeah.
Possibly a riff on the Farcaster meme about the guy that flew to Kenya. Are you familiar with this meme?
I do not. I unfortunately missed that.
You missed the subplot. You missed the subplot. I believe we sent a guy. I believe it was Kenya. I believe it was Kenya. He
Mm.
got in an airplane and flew to Kenya to take a picture with a goat because he got a decent amount of engagement on one of his casts. It is fascinating. So I definitely recommend, going and looking that one up in the Farcaster history. That's like a couple weeks old.
Yeah.
That's not some ancient lore. That is a very recent thing that we sent a man to Africa. So you'd love to see it.
Amazing. We absolutely do. And if there are other things like that, I wonder if we could do some sort of auction for crowdfunding
Mm,
for worthy community activities like that.
right.
This is a good format.
I love it. They did end up eating the goat. I do have to let you know before you get too invested in the
Mm.
story. He took a
Oh,
picture with the
okay.
goat, and they killed and they ate the goat. But that's the circle of life. It lives on with
Yeah.
WGC. WGC is
Hmm.
Wild Goat Coin. So
Damn.
it looks like we have some
Um,
comments here. Sweet Purple PFP, Outland's Hotter Wheels blend. Yep, that's right. The Hotter Wheels that is being given is a blend. I sort of like that
oof.
it has this landscape
Hmm.
feature, but then also
Yeah.
uses the Hotter Wheels motif of the car.
Yeah. Phil, I too could get lost in this image, but I got to turn your attention back to the leaderboard.
Oh wow. So it looks like 7576 was interested in coming in over the top, but there is a new champ on the board,
Yeah.
BE7E.
I think also newcomer. Maybe
Yeah,
we could take a
I
look and see if they've topped up earlier bids or if this is just like a fresh one at the very top of the ranking.
yeah, this is fascinating. BE7E. I am always curious. I wonder, let's see. 7A. Let's see where this one's coming from. So this is our friend 7576. Very familiar with them. They're updating bids. They're putting bids in. And it looks like we have a new bid. And remind me, Nat, of the BE7E. So here they are. So here with a bid of 0.16. Let's take a look at their wallet. Let's
Yeah.
grab this. Let's pop over to highlight and just see, who are they?
Hmm.
What do we know about them?
Let's find
We don't know
out. Oh,
anything.
strange.
We have an
We might have.
add-on.
I'll have to take a look and see why that's not working, but that is very interesting.
Another degen holder. Let's see if they have Wild Goat Coin. We may be on the verge of unraveling a massive conspiracy here.
Hmm.
Nope. Nope. No wild goat coin.
Not interesting. So we can't triangulate based on that. There might
Unfortunately
be
not.
other signals.
They've got dog with hat on base, which I don't actually
Mhm.
know if that's a real token. It probably is, and it's probably worth $1 trillion fucking dollars, and I just don't know about it. But there's
Yep.
also Boomer Coin. Yeah, interesting. Another degen holder. Another degen holder. And you can see
Very
here for
cool.
a global view, so we can see it does look like, just want to confirm, BE7E, the current leader. This is a new
Mm.
bid. This is not somebody updating their bid. They are coming
Wow.
in fresh. So welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Happy to have you.
Very strong. 0.16 makes sense. And I think still, based on some of the math we're doing, EV positive, if
Yeah,
that's the way you're thinking about it. And folks, I don't want to overemphasize that. Ultimately, collecting art from your favorite artists is just an investment in something really personal, something long term. But there is also in this NFT space the potential to to sell work, which we see that happens. So we do see some bidders working with that motivation.
totally. Yeah, this is a new format. There's so much sort of rich on-chain history around all these wallets that are bidding. Like,
Mm,
are they overlapping? Have they bid on auctions before? Is there some sort of hidden beef here that we don't know about? Maybe,
right.
once again,
Yeah.
tinfoil hat, maybe 7576 wants
Hmm.
the outcast and BE7E is coming in just to take it from 7576. Maybe they don't even know who Sumit is, but they just want to make
Yes.
sure that their arch on-chain rival never gets first place. And we could be unwilling
Yeah.
participants in some sort of beef or feud.
Ooh.
Not sure, maybe
Yeah.
not, but possible.
My mind is spiraling in all directions now, Phil. But yes, there could have just been a ripple on the Block Explorer that, an arch nemesis somewhere else on the planet caught wind of and led to this bidding that we're now seeing. But we
And
do see,
we are in the final 20 seconds of the auction. So this is going to be a pivotal couple of seconds here to see if somebody comes in and wants to
and
unseat.
they did. We're back up.
Yeah, we're back up. We
We're
are in it.
back up.
And let's try to
Yeah.
figure out who that was. So let's see.
Pseudo Jaybird or
Pseudo
pseudo
Jaybird
entrepreneur.
popping in.
Yeah,
Jaybird,
looks new to
just
me.
going back to the beginning of the stream, Jaybird bid against me in that first NFT that I mentioned, that ranked NFT. That is the
No way.
Jaybird that I was bidding
Wow.
against for the first Bright Moments NFT.
That's amazing. So you're
Yep,
familiar with this
I
this
am. This
account.
is we definitely have an on-chain back and forth, a worthy rival, and I'm
Hmm.
happy to see Jaybird on the leaderboard. Jaybird, longtime Bright Moments contributor, team member,
Amazing.
friend, and
Yeah.
art lover. So welcome to the leaderboard, Pseudo Jaybird. Fun fact about Jaybird. We drank a bottle of wine at like 3 p.m. in the afternoon a couple weeks ago in Rome. It was a beautiful day. There was a group
Wow.
of people dressed like clowns sitting next to us, all
Hmm.
black, white clown faces, and they were
Yeah.
posing for a photo shoot. So I don't know where that photo ended up,
Sounds
but if we can get a one of it, maybe we can run another auction later.
that
Niche.
sounds like if you just ask Mid-Journey, like
Yeah.
a typical afternoon in Rome, what does
Right.
it look like? That's what I
Well,
envision it giving
at
back to
one
you.
point, the clowns were preparing themselves because it takes a long time to do the makeup, and they didn't do it at home. They were doing it in the park, which I get, I respect. You know, and then a group of nuns showed up because obviously you're in Italy, and so there was sort of this like who's going to take the high ground here, the nuns or the clowns. Ultimately, it ended without conflict,
Hmm.
but I was
Yeah.
expecting sort of like at least like a sing off or something, but we didn't see any of that.
Did you check to see that you weren't like this wasn't like a Rick Owens fashion show or something that you had
Right.
accidentally.
Walked into. Walked
Yeah,
into. You know, cannot confirm or deny. Cannot confirm or deny. I
right.
did just see the leaderboard move. It looks like first place is still steady where it is, but I saw the auction timer extend
Mm-hmm.
here. So Shorn
Yep.
holding on for third. And just a reminder, there are incentives for both first and second place. First place is an outcast to receive directly from Sumit, and we can show that photo again. While second place is an Outlands that is a custom Outlands X Hotter Wheels 1 of 1. So pretty exciting stuff. Clearly, these two are duking it out. It's great to see a lot of familiar names here, plus 33 additional winning bids, which is awesome.
Yep.
So we have the top 10 all the way up to 30, 40, and 43. We're only 7 new bids away from 50 bids in the leaderboard, which is a big milestone.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's interesting to me, Phil, watching this play out where we're seeing completely new bidders enter the top 2 and the top 10. And we're in the, what are we? We're 40 minutes past the official end time. So 40
Yep.
minutes into extended time. And folks are still just catching wind of this and jumping in with strong bids.
Yeah, it is fascinating to see. And I'm also just looking to see what some people are doing here. So, you know, if you sort of look at the activity here, there have been a fair amount of new bids, but also there's a lot of activity of people just upping their existing bids. And so you can sort of track over time where most of this has come from. You know, I do expect to see at some point people who want the 1 or 2 saying, you know what, this is my final offer. I'm putting it in and I'm walking away. And without new people coming to the leaderboard, that may be enough to close it. Or we'll continue to see new entrants who are trickling in from Farcaster or from wherever else they are, you know, leaving their mark on the leaderboard, just like BE70 did here. Really interesting. I would love to know a little bit from the winners when they win. So if you guys are listening to this, feel free to jump on Farcaster and jump over to the Outcast channel. It's a really friendly place. We'd love to hear from you. Also just about your experience of participating. I'll go ahead and paste that link here in the chat. Let's see if I can do that.
Definitely. I also want to take a moment and shout out, Sumit has an amazing hyper sub called Abandoned Curiosities. .xyz. And hyper sub, amazing products, on-chain subscriptions to your favorite creators, and just like a wonderful community there in the Outcast channel as well.
Look at this. He is stacked. I had no idea. Look at all of these people who are subscribed to him. And I believe subscribers get, you know, in addition to exclusive artwork from the drops tab, allow list discounts. And then the cool thing about Hypersub is there's actually like a rev share split. So if you are subbed to a Hypersub and other people join later, there's actually a creator rewards pool, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of really fascinating innovation happening at the protocol level with Hypersub, and rewarding early supporters is I think one of the ideas that they've done a great job pioneering. But it's awesome to see so many people, I think, from the Farcaster community supporting Sumit in this way. He's obviously captured the imagination of just a ton of people around the world with his artwork, with I think just his personality. He's one of those artists who's out there just being very vulnerable about his creative process, about how he's thinking about his artwork, how he's building a community. So just sort of like a joy to engage with him, and all the folks within his community as well, I think, have that kind of optimistic, open mindset.
I also want to share, I kind of feel like a drug dealer here. It's like a bag of weed, but it's actually bookmarks. So these are from, you know, when you run the book channel,
now what you think.
Yeah, when you run the book channel, you end up with some interesting stuff. So I've got these awesome bookmarks. I've got a couple left over from FarCon. And so I would love to find a way to maybe get these out to people if there's other Farcaster meetups that are going on. But pretty rad. So we've got this style, and then we've got another style which I can dig for, which it's the same on both sides, but they came out really, really nice. And everyone who got a free book at Farcaster or at FarCon got to walk away with one of those. So hopefully we'll see them in the wild.
Super cool. Do you want to talk, Phil, for a minute for folks who maybe don't know, you collabed with Sumit on a pretty cool project for FarCon involving books.
So Sumit reached out to me with this idea at the beginning of April, which is, hey, can we, he had a pretty big degen allowance and said, look at, like, I could give this to random people every day, or we could, pool it and basically come up with an awesome giveaway. And so we were able to pool over 1 million degen tips to run what we called the Book Nook at FarCon. And so we were able to give hundreds of books away to attendees. And we bought them all from local bookstores. So I went around LA, and like my car, I looked like a madman. I had like boxes of paperback books. It was actually like my dream. And so we got to give out hundreds of books at FarCon. Everybody walked away with one. There were some really good selections too. I had a couple rare ones that I splurged on. And so I believe Grin won a first edition Fountainhead by Ayn Rand, which is like, if you're doing a book giveaway at a crypto conference, of course it has to have some sort of libertarian bent to it. And then I believe also there was a great astrology book by Toshin. There was a first edition On the Road by Jack Kerouac, Hunter S. Thompson, like a classic Gonzo early edition. And so it's really cool. Like, I don't know, so many of us are NFT collectors, and I just really like translating that sort of collecting muscle to other domains. And so it feels like rare books have sort of an equally rich history of all of these crazy things and like misprints. And I've got some rare books as well. I've got an Asimov book that is like one of my prized collections from Doubleday. And so I just love sharing the book love. And I feel like it's super on brand for Sumit here in the last 30 seconds, maybe, but also maybe not. We'll see.
There's an additional announcement that I need to make as we count down here. Sumit is going to offer 3 months of free hypersub to the top 10 bids here today. So additional incentive.
That is crucial information. Did it come in time?
Let's see. And I think that might be. Oh, we did get
an extension. We have an extension.
Yeah. Wow. We're going. It looks like, let's try to see the diff here.
Yeah. Let's check out where that came from.
I think it was a bid that increased, because I didn't see the total number of bids increase. I don't think we got a new bid, but it seems like someone.
It was an update bid. Someone increased it by 0.0001. So that's clearly just trolling us to extend the auction. We're here for it. We're here for it.
Yeah. Come at me. I go all day. I've got a fridge full of protein bars. Right. And what am I drinking? Some Spindrift Blood Orange. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I could go for hours.
I've got an earthquake kit. I've got some glow sticks. And I'm actually in the middle of Ender's Game. I don't know if you guys know this one. Classic sci-fi.
Oh, nice.
Excellent book. Almost done with it. Reread.
I admit that that's one that I have not read. It's like an obvious gap in my sci-fi reading. Yeah. How do you like it so far?
It's been a favorite of mine for a while. I have an extra, so if you want, I can give it to you. Maybe I'll ship this to you. We can follow up off stream. Highly recommend. Great sci-fi book. It's like young adult, right? But that I don't let that stop me. One of my favorite books still to this day is Chronicles of Narnia. Probably for nostalgic reasons, but also just like the writing's great. Harry Potter still holds up. I don't buy the young adult like category. I think that you can enjoy the stories at any age. So strong recommend.
Chronicles of Narnia, C.S. Lewis. I mean, there's actually like really deep Christian theology, which is quite interesting if you kind of zoom out and think about it in that way. Similar stuff, for people who've studied Tolkien and Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. So yeah, I think there's like layers there that people miss if you just take it as kind of like a book you read in grade 8.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of them, it holds up better. Like I'll reread Dune about once a year, and every time I reread it, I find something different. Like some different part of it speaks to me. Most recently, like you probably saw the movie, right? I think we talked about this in detail. Like what Paul's father, like Leto, has to go through. Like as I was reading it the first time, I was like so focused on Paul, and on rereads, I just think the different character arcs are so interesting for their own reasons.
Yeah,
But a little bit of a book tangent. I don't think someone will be mad about the book tangent on his live stream. I think this is very, very on brand.
I think that's probably where. Yeah, I think he would be happy that we're taking some of the coverage in that direction.
Right. We're speaking about him like this is like a funeral. He's fine. He's fine. He just destroyed the live stream.
Right.
Like, we were
This is what
messaging with
some would
him.
have wanted. Oh, wait a second.
Exactly.
Some is
Some
right
would have
here
wanted a
to
1/8 bid in first place.
yeah. Let's honor some spirit by he's DMing me right now.
Right. Actually, he's posting right now.
1 minute and 30 seconds. Let's recap.
Yeah.
First place, we have BE7E with 0.16 ETH. This was a relatively late bid, came in 20 or 30 minutes into extended time. In second place, we have 7576, who has been jockeying for pole position since I think just the final minutes of the official time.
Yep. And at one point held held first and second place. So let's keep that in mind. Clearly an ambitious wallet.
That's right. Yes. No shortage of ambition here on the leaderboard, folks. We have some great collectors: Peachy, Hirsch, Shorn, Z-Mans. Shout out to Z-Mans, who I think also was a relatively late entrant as well. And we're looking at another extension. I don't know why that should surprise me.
There we go. And do we know where the extension came from? It was an update bid, and it was someone bidding even fewer, even a smaller amount of ETH. There's 0.00001 ETH from B6A18. I think people like the stream, Nat. I don't know about you, but it feels like there's some chemistry here. We didn't plan the outfits. I'm wearing a Corvette shirt. I felt that was on brand for the hotter wheels.
Nice. Yeah.
We could opine about movies or books. If I get hungry, I could take my computer over to my kitchen, do a little cooking show. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of room to diversify the content here.
Well, let me give a little taste of my bookshelf for folks who might be curious. Yeah. When you talked about first editions, I bought a couple of these. I find this makes a really great gift for the right person. If you can find a good first edition, I usually head to abebooks.com. Okay. If you're in the US or maybe North America in general, if you're in Canada or Mexico, this applies equally. Oh, wow. But Abe Books is a great place to find first editions, and you can pick up things like, check this out. This is definitely not mint condition, but very good condition. This is Snow Crash first edition. Right. That I actually have 2 of them on my shelf because I'm going to give one as a gift to a friend at some point. And they're pretty affordable. It's surprising for some of these titles that are really culturally beloved, but not quite like the author is still living or whatever the case is, not quite in like the pantheon of 20th century literature or whatever quite yet. You can find some great deals.
That's a great tip and alpha on the channel here. This is not good. You should not have told me this. It's not good for my bank account. It's not good for my productivity.
I am shocked that you didn't know about Abe Books, but it's a better UI. It's more oriented towards collector's editions.
Right.
So you can find a lot of these things on Amazon, but usually I'm a little bit suspicious sometimes on Amazon. You of course can buy used books on Amazon, but sometimes I don't have full confidence that it's like a true true first edition or whatever type of edition I'm looking for.
Yep. Yeah, some interesting stuff here. Wow, this is great. I have a friend, we were sort of geeking out about this, and he had a first edition copy of it's an autobiography by David Lee Roth, which is just pretty amazing. Like Van Halen is
Yeah.
an incredible group, and the photos in that book are like definitely not PG, but are super interesting. And he just had a crazy life and would like apparently disappear between tours and like go to Tahiti for 6 months or like go like backpacking through Africa. And his autobiography is self-written. So that was an interesting one. I like that kind of thing where like it's like someone has some personal interest in something and they go out and they find it that it's special to them, because often you can get it for not very much money. And like, it's like, it's like having a piece of artwork on your wall from an artist that you love. It's like, if you're the only person in the world that it matters to, that's okay, because it's yours and it's your space. And I feel the same way about books that I do art, or even furniture to some extent. Like it sort of shapes your mood. So.
All true.
We are closing in here on 2 minutes left in the auction. It looks like BE70 has really cemented their lead in first place. We would have to see a strong contender come in. 7576 obviously has been biding their time in second. Are they okay going home with second place? Maybe. I don't know. They strike me as someone who is go big or go home, but we'll see. Meanwhile, we have Shorn, who's right there within striking distance. As a reminder, first and second place get an outcast and an outland respectively, while everyone in the top 10, Sumit just announced, gets a complimentary subscription to their hyper sub. So Shorn will be walking away with something, but not the coveted first or second place outcasts or outlands. And so let's see if there's a move here in the closing minutes of the auction to shake things up on the leaderboard. I'd be curious to see.
We're getting close to our third hour of the auction being live. Kicked off at 8:30 a.m. Pacific. Phil and I hopped on the live stream here at about 9 a.m. Pacific. The auction was supposed to end at 9:30, but bids continued to come in and push the time back to 5 minutes each time. And we'll see as we round this out.
Yeah, see, we have a new bid on the leaderboard. This is mint.futureace.eth, another longtime Bright Moments team member, art lover, collector of Jesus. If you look at the wallet here, big Ganbrood collector. This is
nice.
I also see some Zancan in here.
Yeah.
What appears to be some Uggs. Not sure if this is a statement on fashion, but I like it. They look comfortable and Tom Brady-esque.
Yeah. I think I know that project, but yeah, the Ganbrood one we should talk about. Minting is still open for folks who might know Ganbrood. What's up?
Movement in first place, an extension of the auction, as well as a judo roll reversal. 7576 said, "I'm not taking the sleeping down," and they are slingshotting themselves back into first place.
Wow.
So that is great to see. Some activity and competition here at the top of the leaderboard, which is, what we predicted at the beginning of the auction. There was going to kind of be this two-folded outcome with people really competing for these now top 10 slots, which all have utility attached, and then anyone who just wants to collect a work. So congratulations to 7576. Let's see if it holds. There is some way to go between the top bid and where outcasts have historically traded. So maybe there is still some arbitrage left to go, or maybe they just really want that bragging rights and you can't assign an ETH figure, and Nat and I will be here until the weekend. I'm not sure. I may have to cancel some plans. I was supposed to go grocery shopping tonight, but I can install Instacart if I need to.
Yeah.
Feels fine. We live in a modern society. It's okay. I have everything I need here. I got the internet. I've got Netflix. I've got this auction. That's pure entertainment.
Yes.
And even though I haven't gone grocery shopping in a while, I do have a jar of peanut butter. So strong, calorie dense. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, that'll keep you going for sure. Yeah, we have a team member, in LA who, if needed, can probably like drive to your house and, bring you something as well. I'll bet they'll do that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Actually, that'd be a nice cameo on the live stream. They come in, there's like a delivery, right here, and then
maybe we could fly Sumit from South Asia to visit you in person. Hopefully the live stream doesn't go that long, but if it does, then
we'll
see it happen.
I'm fine. I'll get some Red Bull.
Yep. We might have to. I think we could probably take sleep breaks, or you and I can swap on and swap off.
Right. Or it could be like Andy Warhol did that film, right, where it's just a dude sleeping and he made people sit through it.
Right.
Performance art.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I guess we'll see. One thing to mention, shameless plug, or just plug in general, we need to mention, this is the second ranked auction we've done with Highlight. And we so far with Highlight, if you're a creator making NFT collections, you can sell via fixed price, Dutch auction, also known as the descending price auction, English auction, and then ranked auction is something that we haven't rolled out for general availability yet, but we hope to this Friday, might be early next week, depending. So this version we're looking at, this is in beta for Sumit. And one thing I would say is, if you have any feedback for us at all, just on the UX, on some of these dynamics around bid extensions and everything else, please hit me up, send me a DM. We're always hungry for feedback and want to make this experience as good as possible as we roll it out. So
this is the experimental. We're in the experimental phase of this auction.
Yes. We're dog fooding software live on the live stream, which is always fun and a little bit nerve-wracking.
Terrifying. Yeah.
I did want to call your attention, Phil, for a moment to Breno, who is commenting in the Outcast channel. He tagged both of us, and Breno is saying, "I'm enjoying the conspiracy theories around my bid." This was 14 minutes ago. So Breno, it looks like, is BE70 slipped into second place. Shout out Breno. Give you a follow.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Co-founder and CEO of Botto.io.
Fascinating. Let's give Breno a little shout out on the stream here. Maybe we can pull him up.
Yeah.
Very cool. Let's see some of his cast and replies. BE7EO. BE7EO. That's him in second place. Breno, you're very close to first. Congratulations. You're going to be winning in Outlands if things finish where they do. But also that sweet, sweet PFP, that gifted outcast from some. Man, that would look good as your PFP. So think about it. Think about it. I don't know who 7576 is. Maybe they want to jump into the discussion as well by joining the Outcast channel, giving us some information about them. But I'd be curious to know, who are these mystery people?
Reveal yourself, 7576, or Phil will train his graduate student seminar of blockchain sleuths on you.
Right. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. We're going to do a little, I think Johnny would be proud of this. Let's see. I think we could do a meme in real time here. We'll keep an eye on the auction in the left tab, but I think we're going to do text too, right?
For folks tuning in, we're really behind the curtain now in Phil's
This is
in the meme,
most
in
of
the
this
meme
is really it.
studio.
This is how it happens.
Don't do this, Phil. Don't do this. we're gonna be here.
Yeah,
We're gonna be here
we're
for a while.
learning. We're learning. You know, the minimum bid extension is obviously a key part, but we're here for it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Be the most painful product feedback I've ever received.
Never forget it. Never forget it.
No.
Yeah, let's see if there's any other familiar things.
Yeah. Shorn as well in third, 8-8 DC, Hirsch in fifth, Peachy is sixth, Pseudo Jaybird seventh. Then we've got 0BA0, Z-Man's in ninth, 5-1 F6 in 10th. So congrats to everyone in the top 10 on the leaderboard so far. You have 3 months of Sumit's Hypersub for free, which is awesome. Very cool. Abandoned Curiosities. And it looks like we've got an extension.
And look at this stacked lineup here. This is awesome.
Yeah.
All of these people. I see a lot of people with greater than 1 year, which is basically the biggest endorsement you can give somebody, which is I'm going to subscribe to you for a year, right? Which is just awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces there.
Give a quick plug to Hypersub. So great mechanism for on-chain creators to build their community and also offer something tangible on an ongoing subscription basis for their support. And our friend Johnny Mack, who's quite active on Farcaster as well, and Warpcast, founder there. And it's something we see a lot. You know, we talk to a lot of artists and creators at Highlight, and I think something that's still tricky to navigate is just where to look for sustainable income. Often doing big projects, doing big releases or auctions, you can generate solid income that way, but it sometimes feels a little bit feast or famine, and we all have bills to pay and food to put on the table, and so having something that you can look to for recurring revenue is something that Hypersub is working to solve.
Yeah, and sharing it with your biggest supporters. I mean, they put it right here. The earlier you subscribe, the longer you subscribe for, more ownership of the reward pool. So you can see here that 10% of any money that goes into a Hypersub subscription gets given back to subscribers. And if you sub early and for a long time, you get a significant percentage of the pool ownership. So here it's about 6%. And you can imagine that if you choose the right artist at the right time and they continue to use Hypersub as their primary way of generating recurring revenue, you can own meaningful percentages of that creator's income. So it really is a way of taking a bet on an individual creator, which is, it feels like in a big part, the promise of what crypto is doing. And so it's been really exciting to see sort of this flesh out and for it really to become a sustainable model for so many artists. Plus the design of the website is always great. It has its very own sort of feel to it. I also did some sleuthing. Looks like shorn.eth, right? I believe this is the correct spelling of the third place contestant, Farcaster user. And it looks here that he has an active badge. Is this? I think we can probably get him some more followers. I mean, for him to be a top 3 bidder on Sum's auction and to only have 349 followers seems like a little bit of a shame. Maybe we can plug him here in the auction. Let's see if we can paste it. There we go. That's Shorn. Congrats on your bid. Nat, I'm going to let my dog outside. I'm going to be right here. She's barking at me. Hi, baby. You want to go outside? Okay.
As we do. Short out ETH just gave you a follow. Computer scientist who just thinks on-chain is neat. Beautiful.
Me too.
Based in
Yeah, me too. I feel the same way.
Calgary, Canada. Fun fact, I'm originally Canadian, and I realized when I was at FarCon, like a third of the people I was talking to were also like secretly Canadian. Shout out to all my Canadians listening on the live stream. There's so many Canadians in crypto. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's either because it's a more somewhat more centralized country, socialist country. Canada's a socialist country. If perhaps it's the desire for a more decentralized world that pushes people towards that, or maybe because there's a social safety net. People are freed up to go pursue interesting, creative things on the frontier of technology.
Steel manning both sides.
I had that debate a couple different ways this weekend in LA.
I think a couple notable forecasters. I think Boro, he's in Canada.
Yes.
I know he's mentioned a couple times. Other famous Canadians. Are we just doing famous Canadians now? I'm happy to go down the list. Do you have some favorites?
Yeah.
Some favorite Canadians?
Yeah, I mean, plenty. Yeah, I mean, Canada is really strong on the comedian, like famous comedian list. Jim Carrey, Mike Myers, obviously.
Wait. Jim Carrey's
What?
Canadian?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Ontario.
What? Vitalik?
Yeah, it's
Vitalik. Yep, Vitalik did go to Waterloo.
Vitalik. Vitalik's like Russian by birth, I believe.
Right.
But
Canadian by temperament.
grew up in
I would
Toronto.
say if I had to put Vitalik into like a country mapping, Canadian by temperament feels pretty centrist, pretty reasonable. We've got some Drake versus Kendrick beef happening in the chat right now. Yes, Drake is Canadian. I grew up near Toronto. Fun fact, the drinking age is lower in Canada than it is in the States. So all you got to do is right across the border.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
Yeah, little arbitrage, drinking age arbitrage.
I think Chamath is Canadian, right?
Chamath is Canadian, yeah. I think Sri Lankan by birth, grew up also in the Toronto area.
I believe Elon went to Waterloo first, right? He moved to Canada out of South Africa and then got into the States.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of folks do that, definitely.
It looks like here 7576 still holding first place, just catching us back up. We have seen some stability, some stabilization around first and second place. We did have a doxing of BE7E, which was exciting. I don't know who that is. Shout out. I believe Brenner. Remind me of the name, Nat.
Let me find it. Breno. Yeah, Breno. Breno CA. BRENOCA is the Warpcast name.
I'm going through my notifications now, and I've actually got some pretty funny people. Here's a couple comments from Peachy. Good news for the Magic Wallet Connect. I was able to bid. There was an edit button sometimes. Phil and Nat are crushing the live stream. This is from Future. The real alpha is watching Phil screen share, scroll base scan, and counting how many highlight tabs you can open. Fact, that is very true. Henry Herschel, you guys need to add a live chat to this auction. Henry, I believe you can chat on YouTube, but definitely noted. I think you're in it now. Some conspiracy theories are on my bid. And then Sumit, you guys are just messing with them at this point. It's okay. It's fine by us.
We might have to call it. I think you have a call, right, Phil, in 17 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm happy to stick right up until it.
Okay. Maybe can you invite the whole stream to your call? Yeah. Can we all just
I'll actually invite everybody to it, and we'll just do it in public.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds good.
Culture
Golden
Dealer. I am
Public.
7'6". I am bids number 1 and will not reveal my identity. Culture Dealer, thank you for being in first place and placing that bid. I know we appreciate it, and I'm sure some does as well. Can you give us a hint, maybe why it's so important to you that you get first place? I'd love to learn a little bit about some of your motivation. And feel free to take your time with it. We have definitely some people trolling with the 0.001. Thanks, Culture Dealer. I feel like the secret's out, Matt. So I'm going to post the Scooby-Doo meme, just so you know. I feel like the secret's out. So there's no need to keep it.
I feel like the Bright Moments contingent, for folks who don't know, Phil is part of Bright Moments. I said was just because they've concluded their world tour, epic 3-year world tour, just a couple of weeks ago. But I feel like we've got some Bright Moments colleagues who are trolling you in particular, Phil. And it's sort of like this prisoner's dilemma for me now of like, if I, do I stay? Do I jump off the live stream because you're clearly in jail? I'm not sure.
I think, I'm happy to rejoin after my call. I got the rest of my days wide open. I got nothing to do. So if people are still here in an hour, I am more than happy to jump back on. You let me know.
I think as long, I just want to remind everyone that the blockchain is transparent, and all of these lowball, bids just to troll us are, look, I get it. If I was on the other side of the live stream, I might do that too. But also, we're supporting Sumit on Hotter Wheels, and
keep it coming.
If you want to do that, then I mean, let's increase the size of the purse there. I don't know. I don't know if all these decimals, are really a feature of your on-chain reputation as much as a liability. So, go head over to Uniswap, swap some coins, see if you've got maybe like some extra degen in a side wallet or something, and let's just call out right on the screen, edit bids. You can update your bid. Yes, you can, but make it like a reasonable increase.
Maybe 0.42, 0.69, 0.0.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, at least make it funny.
Right. Yeah.
And let's take a look at the recent bids. So we've got some folks here that are coming in. We had a new bid 8 minutes ago. That's exciting. That's somebody joining the leaderboard for the first time. We always love to see that.
That's cool.
And right now, just do an up-to-date count of how many people are on the leaderboard. We got 45. Yep. We need 5 new bids to get to 50, which is a huge milestone. And I would love to see personally 5 new bids come in here before the top of the hour. So let's see if we can get to it. Oh, we have a question from Alex. What are ranked auctions? I'm about to drop an infographic on him. Let's get this ready. And so maybe while I'm getting this infographic ready, and then I can go ahead and share it with the rest of the group. So let's see if this worked. Can I do that? Okay. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and just share this infographic with everybody else. I think you can go ahead and see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. So here's how I think about ranked auctions, right? So there's sort of these different ways you can categorize things. And, in this case, ranked auction is an hour, but you can run it for as long as you want. So you can give people as much time, but really the action happens in that last hour. And they're really great for price discovery. As we're seeing now, people can just come in, increase their bids as much as they want. They're great for time zone friendliness. You can sort of place your bid whenever. And it's really when you're not sure what the right price is, and you sort of have just about the number of buyers that you think will fit the leaderboard, compared to, say, something like a direct listing where you're pretty sure what the price is and you have a lot of buyers, or a Dutch auction where you're sort of not really sure. But this is sort of how we think about ranked auctions. So Alex, I'll share this infographic with you Farcaster. Always happy to dig in. This is always the meat, the red meat that people love to get into. We love it. We love the Excalibur. Big fans.
We do.
All right.
New bid in the last minute while you were talking, Phil. We're up to 46 folks on the leaderboard. Still 7576 holding strong, culture dealer. And then we've got B70 Breno in second place. And then everyone in the top 10 also receiving 3 months of Sums Hypersub Abandoned Curiosities.
Amazing. Amazing. Which includes subscriber only drops.
Yep. Subscriber only drops in supporting a true crypto native, Farcaster native artist.
You know, something else I want to point out,
work.
fascinating about ranked auctions. So, you know, let's say, for example, that we did it, that the way that we decided to do the sale was a direct listing, 100 items at 0.02. Okay, well, that's about 2 ETH, right? So that's sort of how you can think about how much money goes to the artist versus as a ranked auction, because people can bid higher. I think right now we've already raised 1.5 ETH and maybe even a little bit over that. And so even though there's not 100 unique bidders, it's actually able to raise as much ETH or more than a direct listing at a fixed price would be. And so it's a really interesting dynamic where you can allow people that want to pay more for the same item, maybe for extra perks, maybe to reward the artist, which just feels like the right way to do this rather than try to put everyone in one bucket, because there's people that have different disposable incomes. There's people that like the art more or less. And so this allows people to express both their preference, but also sort of the magnitude of their preference, which I find really interesting.
Yep.
So that's sort of nice. And as you think about it as like a, you know, fundraising goal, okay, as an artist, oh, wow. You know, it's actually able to allow me to, you know, raise ETH for a collection to the people who want it the most, which is always a good heuristic to have.
Yep. Yeah, and I think what would happen here is for the 50 works maybe that don't receive bids, or the 50, 54, 53, wherever we land, some can just mint them to his own wallet. And that's also something that's quite valuable and I think quite interesting as different artists just kind of navigate their way on chain. Having a vault of great artworks that are valuable to collectors over time is something really cool, and something that you can always offer to new collectors who in a month or a year or a decade, you know, come to learn about your work and get excited about it. Having those reserves is quite valuable.
Yeah. And it's sort of interesting that they can gain in value over time because they're off the market. And so it can be a vintage or a rare or something like that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this collection shakes out. I'm excited to see which one I'm in. I'm on the leaderboard. And so when the auction concludes, I'll be given a work from the collection, and I'm super pumped about it. And we'll be sharing it in the Outcast channel. I think that this is probably my final auction extension. I do have to drop here just to prep for a call at the top of the hour, but this has been a blast joining. And I think we learned a lot from the experiment.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I have a call too in like 7 minutes. So I'm also going to have to drop from the stream. The bids can continue. We'll pause the stream. Thanks for everyone who has joined so far. Just to close things out a little bit, we're in the, gosh, I don't know at this point, the 30th extension, something like the 30th extension, maybe, of bids on Sums Hotter Wheels collection, hotterwheels.xyz. I don't know why you'd be listening to the live stream without having that page up, but that's what it is. We're doing a ranked auction, so 100 pieces from this collection available to bid on. 46 winners so far on the leaderboard. Of those 46, the top 10 bids are going to receive a hyper sub subscription for 3 months
Huge.
to Some's Abandoned Curiosities community, which is super cool. Plus, the top bidder, Culture Dealer 7576, is going to receive a 1-of-1 artwork from Outcasts. We shared a glimpse of that. Beautiful output based on Outcasts. And the second place bid is going to receive an artwork from Outlands, which we also previewed here on the live stream. And I'm Nat. I'm co-founder at Highlights.xyz. We're testing out ranked auctions here in real time on the live stream. And Phil is a professional sports anchor. He mostly does like tier 4, tier 5 dog racing.
Yeah.
Oh, what is it?
ESPN 8 Yocho.
Yeah, only obscure sports that are illegal in most states. Also works on bright moments in his spare time. But thanks all for joining. We got about 2 minutes left here. Phil, if you want to hop, I know you've got to prep for your call.
Cool. I will. And I've always wanted to say this. Go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button. Okay. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.
Thanks, Phil.